We are live. Maybe I got some internet access. Just when you think all you're going to be able to talk about is riots and viruses, a YouTuber goes off and lands one of the only real interviews with Barry Morphew, Suzanne Morphew's husband. Many of you have been following this case. Many of you are new to Dad with the Phone because of this case. Some of you are just joining the conversation over here at Dad with the Phone because of the Suzanne Morphew case. Some of you went out to Salida with us live while we were out there during the search where they were looking at one of Barry's properties. Well, I guess it was this morning I got a message from one of my admins and said, hey, it looks like this guy got some sort of interview with Barry Morphew. And so this morning there was a video, and I want to be clear here because people have been like, you should link to this guy's channel. Well, first of all, this morning when I woke up, this guy had 800 subscribers on his channel. After I shared his video, he has 1,800 subscribers. So I've pointed people straight to his channel where these videos were popping up. But I also pulled those videos because a lot of times these videos go up and then they disappear and I'm like, haven't seen them or wasn't able to watch them or wasn't able to like really dissect into them. The video that I watched this morning, he actually says in the video, he has deleted that video, by the way. He actually said that he went out there. He had done a video where he was searching around the area and he saw Barry's truck. Like Barry's truck was around and Barry was driving around in the same area he was at searching, which is kind of right by Barry's house. So Barry was kind of actively around that area. Well, then he comes on a video and says that he actually got an interview with Barry. Now, in the original video he posted, which he pulled down, it's been deleted. He says that he accidentally recorded this conversation with Barry Morphew. And I was like, well, cool. I'm glad in my mind, I'm thinking, oh, that's a good teaser for this video. I even commented on his video on YouTube and said, dude, that's a great teaser. I would love to talk with you on Dad with a Phone about your interview, about your interaction, what happened with what went down, your side of what went down. Well, because he kind of tells us on the first video that he doesn't know if he's going to post the actual interview or the actual video he took with Barry Morphew. Well, he does post it. And unfortunately, it doesn't look like it was an accident that he recorded it. And so a lot of people are already giving this guy crap. And I feel bad for him because I know kind of people will try to slaughter you online. They will call you all kinds of names. And depending on what kind of person you are, it can really back and forth with you. People do this to me and it doesn't bother me at all. People even contact me and they're like, I can't believe these people spend all this time or whatever. But there are people that are upset at this particular YouTuber. I am not upset at this YouTuber. One, because he didn't do anything illegal. He may have done some stuff that some people would call ethical or immoral, and maybe your ethics weren't playing, but he doesn't, people don't realize that YouTubers and people like me, Dad with Phones, this guy just seems to be like a normal, he's had a YouTube channel. Like I said, this morning when he woke up, he had 800 subscribers. Today, when he's going to bed, and after this video, he'll probably have 2,000 subscribers. So all of a sudden, one video, one interview, one thing that happened to him, this is his real life. He's out there searching for Suzanne. He's out there walking around the area where she went missing. This is his real life. So when people get on the internet and they want to bash him for this video, I don't feel the same way, because He was at the right place at the right time, and genuinely he's spending his time, no matter the intentions behind his heart. Like a lot of people try to judge me and say I do this for all kinds of reasons when they really don't have, they don't even know the intentions behind my heart. And so I don't know the intentions behind why this guy had gone out there to this area to search. And he lives close by. First of all, this is down the street. He says he's from, he was in Pagosa Springs, which Pagosa Springs is literally the closest town to Maysville. It's the closest town there. So he was already in the general area. And so it wasn't like he traveled a long way to go up to Maysville, and he just happened upon Barry Morphew, and it was around the area that he was looking. And so I don't think there's anything wrong with what this guy has done. Now, there's a few things he could have done that would have covered his butt. First of all, he should have never said to the public in that video this morning that it was an accidental recording, because obviously in the recording, it's not accidental. He's adjusting the camera. Okay. So the accidental story, I don't buy, right? I don't buy that story. I understand why he did it, and I could understand why he would do a video like that in the moment, in the emotion. But I want to be honest, I don't think it was an accidental recording. It doesn't seem to be an accidental recording. Nevertheless, he deleted the video where he called it an accidental recording. It didn't make it go away. It doesn't take away from what he actually did and said in that video, but he did delete that video. Now, in the video that I'm about to show you, he tells Barry he's not recording. He didn't have to do that, because Barry just said, "Hey, will you put that away?" And he sticks it in his pocket. He could have just stuck it in his pocket recording. He didn't have to lie to Barry about it. But because he did, because he said it's not recording, then we have to make some assumptions about this video. Barry is giving this information out as genuinely as you could if you thought you weren't being recorded. In other words, Barry's not putting on a show for a video in this particular video, because we know that the guy recording the video tells Barry, "I'm not recording." Now, he lied to Barry. Indifferent, it doesn't matter. Little white lie, doesn't matter. Colorado says only one person, one party has to know that the conversation is being recorded. It's a one-party state. So he didn't do anything illegal. If he would have just stuck the camera in his pocket when Barry asked him to put it away and continue to talk to Barry, it would have been assumed that he wasn't recording, but he wouldn't have stated it's turned off. And he does state that it's turned off. And Tyson, I'm sorry, but because you made that statement, there are going to be sections of the internet that are going to try to come after you, and they're going to try to make this about you doing the recording instead of the actual recording itself. And you know what? I've made the same mistakes. I record everything. I tell everybody I record everything. Even if I'm not recording, I tell everybody I'm recording. And even if I tell them I'm not recording, I'm probably still recording. So don't think I'm judging you, Tyson, for your video, because I actually think it's a great video. I actually think it's about the most honest, genuine video we're going to get from Barry, because he didn't know it was going on, right? At least that's our assumption because of the guy recording it. So the YouTuber is Tyson Draper, and you can look him up right on YouTube. It's TysonDraper. You'll find him right on the YouTube. It is what it is. I'm going to show his video. Hopefully I don't get a strike, but if I do, It ain't my first strike. I ain't worried about that so much. We're going to watch this video, and I may or may not stop it in between. Actually, let me do it this way.
Okay. Yeah.
Actually, I'm going to show this video from this might help me not get a strike. So we'll see what happens. I'm going to show this video. I'll probably pause it and stop and talk through it. We'll talk about some things that Barry says, some things. I think Barry actually tells a few lies in this, and I don't know if he's telling the lies intentionally or just trying to validate the point that he's trying to make. And I want to talk. They're not lies about the case. They're lies about credibility, and that's what and there's things you have to look at that when you're trying to look at these interviews with an open mind. You're trying to understand maybe what Barry's thinking. You're trying to understand why he's saying the things he said. He said some things in this video that are maybe fabrications. And I'm going to point those out to you. And some people may dispute this, but some of the things just don't make any sense. And so we're going to watch this video. I'll probably stop it and pause it along the way, and we'll go from there. So thanks for watching Dad with a Phone right now, by the way. It's been a while since I've done like a really good, I've done a couple of good ones here in the last couple of days, but we'll see what's up. See if this works. Why can't I share that? Share. Make full screen. All right, just so you guys know, this video was taken like on the 30th. So it was taken yesterday, I believe. And like I said, you can find this video from the original user on YouTube at Tyson Draper, TysonDraper. He woke up this morning with 800 subscribers. He's going to bed with over 2,000 probably. So this video has definitely boosted his channel because he was at the right place at the right time. Mad credit to YouTubers. I have said that YouTubers are going to solve cases in the very near future. Social media is going to solve cases in the very near future. This is kind of a small example of how a YouTuber, a social media blogger can grab something that no one else has been able to get. No one else has even been able to get an on-camera interview or even a phone interview that they've been able to talk about with Barry Morphew. This guy got Barry Morphew not only to tell him stuff, he tells him his version of what may have gone down. So let's watch this video. Let me mute my microphone and then I'll come back with it.
I'm from Arizona.
Okay.
So
What happened?
okay.
Yeah, you mind putting that in your pocket?
Oh, not a problem. No problem. No, it's not on, bro. It's not on.
We've had a lot of media.
Yeah.
Bother us. And obviously this is very emotional.
Oh, absolutely, bro.
Private from me. But we searched. It's never going to hurt to retrace searches. So we've searched a 200-mile radius.
What? Really?
All of the mountains have been covered so far. But obviously, we're going to miss things.
Right.
So let me show you what happened. And I do have a reward.
There is a reward.
210,000.
So Barry, at this first part, kicks off by saying, listen, we've searched over 200 miles. And he goes on in this video to explain kind of the area in which he searched. The other thing I want you to understand is at this time, Barry thinks that this guy has traveled from Arizona to search and look into this thing and to come there and to be of help. He does offer help to Barry. So Barry now tells him there's a 210. I thought it was just 200,000, but there's a $210,000 reward for information leading to the whereabouts of Suzanne Morphew.
$1,000 reward. The bike was found at the bottom of the hill by that tree where the peak is.
Oh, really?
The first night there was a mountain lion. The officer seen it walk by the car. So we.
All right. So this first statement here, this statement is real concerning to me for Barry's side. And the reason why it's concerning to me is because law enforcement has said that they do not believe a wildlife is at play when it comes to Suzanne Morphew's case. Barry is now telling us that law enforcement saw a mountain lion in this area on the day or the day before or around the time Suzanne went missing. So on one side, and Barry's not necessarily pointing to law enforcement, because you'll hear him talk, or not, he's not pointing to wildlife, saying that wildlife has done this, but he brings up what seems to be that law enforcement has said there was a mountain lion in this area. And so when he started this conversation right now with this guy, I'm like, well, why would law enforcement tell the world, tell the public that they don't believe a mountain lion or wildlife was involved in her disappearance, but yet Barry actually goes on and talks about, their mountain lion sign wasn't that there was some mountain lion sign, but it disappeared because of the rain and different areas where they haven't searched. Maybe it was a mountain lion. He kind of gives a scenario where maybe a mountain lion drug Suzanne off. I can talk about this extensively more because I actually know a lot about mountain lions in this area and Colorado, and have been on multiple mountain lion hunts and kind of have talked to the foremost experts when it comes to mountain lions in the Colorado Rocky Mountain region. And so this concerns me for Barry because he kind of is contradicting what law enforcement has already said to us, and that is they do not believe wildlife played a part in Suzanne's missing. But that doesn't mean they're right either.
Thought maybe she got attacked by a lion. We thought maybe she wrecked coming down this hill, a car coming around the corner fast, or maybe was disoriented and got in the river. We've covered all of this really good, this triangle with search and rescue. So we're pretty comfortable that she's not in this triangle between the RV park, your truck, this road, and then the next road. But what seems to have happened from the investigators, and they don't give much, and I've got private people working for me, is maybe she was abducted right here. And they found an article going west of hers. They won't tell us what it is. So they sent another team after they found the article that covered this hillside all the way down to the river pretty good. My concerns were this way and that way if it was the cat, because the cats, they drag their prey up the mountain and out of people's. We can't find sign for the cat, but we got rain like right away.
Yeah.
Could have washed away sign.
So they found her bike just right against that tree down there?
Well, no, it was on the ground. The wheel was facing, and the sheriff department, they screwed everything up. They shouldn't have touched it.
Oh, really?
Left its evidence. Hold it up.
This concerns me what Barry goes into next a few times, because unfortunately he's probably telling the truth. To outsiders who have come in and maybe have sat down with Barry, he says he has his own I have no doubt that Barry has people investigating this. He's offering a $210,000 reward. There will be people investigating this just for the simple fact that if they come up with evidence that leads to Suzanne, they could be entitled to that $210,000. He says he has people investigating, and then he says the sheriff really screwed up. They removed the bike. They touched the bike. He goes on and says that they went through and drove around this property and different things like that. He goes on to say that they drove around this area and really kind of what he's kind of saying is that the sheriff's department contaminated what is believed to be the primary crime scene or disappearance scene from where she went missing. Now, I can tell you that if a mountain lion attacked Suzanne in this area, the mountain lion would not remove a living person from this area. A mountain lion would kill its prey right there in this area and then possibly would drag a person off. But very, very highly unlikely. I mean, to the point where most mountain lion attacks in Colorado are not even lethal. Only 3 people in the history of recorded history, again, 3 people in recorded history have ever been killed by a mountain lion in the state of Colorado. It is more likely that you will be struck by lightning in the state of Colorado than a mountain lion killing you. Now, a mountain lion attack and injury happening, yes, but for a mountain lion to take a full-grown woman off a bike with no blood, with no evidence, with no struggle, with no anything like that, super highly unlikely for wildlife to be the cause of Suzanne's disappearance, okay? A car running her off the road, way more likely. This is way more likely a scenario that happened, and then somebody freaked out. Somebody grabbed her, not grabbed her out of trying to abduct her, but maybe got her trying to get her to a hospital. She was dead on the way there. Maybe they hit her, and then they freaked out, right? There's 100 different scenarios you could go down if somebody did a hit and run or a hit and abduction because they were scared that they would get in trouble. But again, very highly unlikely. This is a dead-end road, okay? This road dead ends to a trailhead, and there were people around the area. There's already witnesses who have said they saw different vehicles in the area and turning in different. So again, the scenarios in which Barry are presenting are highly unlikely. Okay. The fact that somebody would be waiting there in wait on Mother's Day just randomly to abduct someone, kind of unlikely. Mountain lion animal attack, very unlikely. But Barry is telling this story, and he is saying it with enough conviction that he said they have searched over 200 miles. He's about to go on and say some things.
We had cars over here. Well, the sheriff let everybody drive through here, covering all, or messing up all the evidence. They were walking all over this area, which if somebody abducted her, they would have had foot tracks. They would have fingerprints on the bike. And they let 10 other people touch the bike.
Oh, man.
I mean, we was really upset that first night. I was in Denver, so
oh, you were?
I didn't get here until 9 o'clock that night.
Yeah.
And my friend's an Army Ranger, and he knows this stuff better than anybody. He did 400 tours in Iraq, Afghanistan.
That's probably an exaggeration right there. I've spoken with a couple of guys that actually did tours over in, I mean, since I've seen this video, I've actually contacted a few people, and I said, you know, could someone do 400 tours in Iraq and Afghanistan? It's probably an exaggeration. Maybe 4 tours, maybe 6 tours, maybe 8 tours would be believable. But most of the, and I talked to a guy who's Army Ranger, did tours in Afghanistan, did like 5 tours in Afghanistan. He said it's probably just miswords. Barry probably didn't mean to say 400. He may have meant to say he did 4 tours in Afghanistan and Iraq, but to do 400 tours over in Afghanistan and Iraq is probably an exaggerated number, at least from the military guys that I've spoken with. Maybe there are some badasses that have done 400 tours in Afghanistan. I'm not military, so I'm not going to sit here and actually and pretend like I would know how many tours someone would do. But as soon as I heard that, I reached out to guys that are military and that are still active duty, and they said very highly unlikely someone ever did 400 tours in Iraq and Afghanistan. So maybe a little bit of an exaggeration, maybe misspoke. To give credibility to the guy who was maybe investigating, to his friend. He kind of goes on to say that this guy knows all these things and knows what's going on. And so it's a very weird statement to make. And probably not very accurate.
9 o'clock that night.
Yeah.
And my friend's an Army Ranger, and he knows this stuff better than anybody. He did 400 tours in Iraq, Afghanistan.
Oh, is that?
So what I would say, you want to help? I would say this way.
All right. Up until this point in the video, I almost have bought Tyson's initial on he didn't know it was recording, that he put it away. He tells Barry it's not recording. He then makes a video on YouTube and says that he accidentally recorded it. Up until this point in the video, I was like, hey, maybe it was accidentally recorded and this dude just got lucky. But then he starts to reach down, adjust, move the camera around. At one point, he looks at it to make sure it's recording. So, you know, again, I'm not dogging on Tyson. I would have done the exact same thing in this situation. I probably would have told Barry that I wasn't recording. I probably would have done pretty close to the exact same thing that this guy does. The only difference is I probably wouldn't have made a video telling the world that it was accidentally recording, knowing that I'm adjusting the camera during the recording. And then he goes on to actually speak into the camera at the end. Again, it didn't look like it was accidental. So Tyson, you had me fooled up until right about here when you started adjusting the camera. When that happened, I was like, "Oh, dude, this is a setup. This is a good recording."
So you don't know where that article was, or was it by the road, or they won't say, huh? Well, Barry, I'm glad you filled me in, man. I was. Oh, you had somebody behind me. I was hoping I'd run into you because I can't even imagine what you're doing. That's what I heard. Yeah. Well, get your name cleared, and then.
Well, and they told me that it's cleared. I don't know if it's going to come to me, if it's me.
Yeah, well, they're going to, man. They're going to be killed because I mean, you got to look at, especially in Colorado. There's been so many cases where like Patrick Crazy, Christopher Watts, you know, these guys get on there and they act like, you know, they didn't do anything, and so they, I mean, naturally people are going to be skeptical in the beginning, you know, but
you just came to help.
yeah, I was in the Pagosa Springs area, and I've been kind of hearing about this, and so I thought I'd just come help, man. And what can I do for you, bro?
We've got a good group of friends and stuff. The best thing that you could do if you're a hiker and you're an outdoorsman,
Yeah.
just get out there and cover some ground.
Okay.
Yeah, find something. If you find anything, don't touch it. Take a picture of it. Give it to the police. Put it in there. Let them come because if there's an article, they need to DNA it.
Absolutely.
And we have found men's clothing. We found a group of men's clothes up by the lake. Fooses, but they DNA tested and they're done.
So Fooses is up that way.
You go up to the right.
Yeah.
And that lake's up there, and then the Fooses Trail. You can drive all the way to the trailhead. And this is the Colorado Trail. We cross 50 where they park up top.
Yeah.
And you can, I mean, that trail goes all the way to Denver.
Okay.
And we've covered, I had school friends come the first few days. So we had a bunch of guys that we covered that really good.
Up in there.
But the only thing, this is a tough one, and my friends get in shape like you. So getting up those sides of those hills and stuff is kind of tough.
Well, let me ask you a quick question, Barry. So you were in Denver, but how long before somebody noticed that she was gone? And
well, it was Mother's Day.
It was Mother's Day.
So we had two daughters that were coming home from the trip. And I had that job in Denver that I wanted to get started on Sunday, set it up for my workers. My workers would come in Sunday night. I was going to work Sunday night, they work Monday. But being the owner, I wanted to get everything lined up so that getting that standard.
I want to address people, and let me tell you what, when I first saw this video, the first thing I asked myself was this a plant? Was this whole thing like a plant with Barry to get this kind of story out there? Well, I don't know much about Tyson. I don't know who Tyson is, but I can tell you Tyson's had a YouTube channel for a little bit. He's done other YouTubes about some other true crime stuff. So he's not super big into the true crime world, but he's actually done some other videos, Lori Vallow, some other things that what you can see on his YouTube channel. I don't think this was planned. I really don't. I don't think this was some sort of plant. I don't think Barry orchestrated this thing. I don't think this guy is working with Barry at all. I think this is an authentic video in a sense that this guy was in the area looking and doing videos about it. He has another video up that he did just either prior day or maybe on the same day. It looked like it was the prior day because he said he's going to come back, and then he actually saw Barry's truck at the area in his prior video where he goes around there and kind of does some different things. So in my opinion, after watching this a few times, even now, I don't think this is a planted, scripted kind of video. This is 100%, I think, kind of an authentic, this guy got lucky. This guy just got lucky. He was honest looking enough and was quick-witted on his feet enough to get Barry to talk to him. And you got to give the YouTuber credit for that, because I know for a fact that media has been reaching out to Barry Morphew to talk, and he hasn't talked to the media. And probably because the sheriff has told him not to. Now, a couple of things that happened in this exchange right here. Barry tells us that we all found out, or they found out she was missing on Mother's Day. In other words, that was the last time anyone had spoken with her. Her kids were supposed to be home. He goes on to tell the story here. Her kids were on their way home. They were delayed. They texted mom, couldn't get a hold of mom. Then they called and tried to get a hold. They got the neighbor, and then the whole neighbor story kind of comes out. But anyway, to address the questions of, do I think this video is a staged video? I really don't. I think it's a pretty authentic video in a sense. I think it's probably the most authentic we've seen Barry talk about things. Now, whether or not Barry is authentically talking about the real life or this is a fabricated story, that's up for you to make a decision. There are some things in the story that don't line up to me, but they're not all of these things. If my wife was missing, man, I'd be going down every scenario possible: mountain lion, bear, abduction, a car, any of those things. I'd be going down, trying to rule those things out. The evidence doesn't point to wildlife. The evidence doesn't necessarily point to something happening in an accident. There's no blood. There were physical signs of a struggle or an accident. They just found her bike. And so, but I think this is an authentic video for sure.
Right. So I told my wife, the girl's gonna be home. They want to spend Mother's Day with you. Mind if I go instead of it? She said, no. She's not and then the girls get one movie together. That's what we thought was going to happen. The girls were running late, so they texted me Happy Mother's Day. She didn't text back. So we went to, or they called my neighbors and said, listen, it's Mother's Day. I'm a little worried. And will you go check the house? And the neighbor went and checked the house. Saw that the car was there right in front. She called me and then said, hey, we're just a little worried. And I go, well, I am too. Why don't we just play? Just be safe. I'll get home from that.
Yeah, that's what it was. Yeah. Bro, I'm really sorry, man. I can't imagine what you're going through, but it sounds like you got a really good support system.
Yeah.
And you want me to leave my number or anything? And in case you need me, I'll be here for the next. And then give me your number. Write it down because my phone's charging in the truck. But TY, Ty.
The little camera move there was kind of sly. I deleted his number, but I got it in my phone here. I'm going to call it when we're done with this video here.
Are you grandma? Barry's mom? Oh, Barry, I feel for you, man.
I appreciate it.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're genuine on what you're doing here, then I appreciate it.
Yeah.
If you're an undercover news person,
Oh, no. Nope.
they're not coming for anything. They killed me in the movie.
Yeah. Oh, they will, Barry. They will. And probably the worst is yet to come. I hate to say that, but just ride the storm out, man. And the truth always comes out in the end, bro. So,
Hey, thanks.
hey, good to meet you guys. Take care.
He gives himself away right here. By the way, this isn't a phone he's recording on. This is a GoPro. This is why Barry probably didn't know it was recording, because he's probably got the red light turned off it. So this is a GoPro video. This isn't a phone video.
Okay, well, as you can see, ladies and gentlemen, I just had a long conversation with Barry Morphew. He told me the whole story, and I met his mom. And I hope this camera picked it up, but I got his whole story. He told me that the bike was discovered right over here. He walked me up this hill, and he made a little threat there at the end. I don't know if the camera picked it up or not, but he said, if I'm with the news media, he's going to come after me. Wow. Stay tuned, everybody. This has gotten really creepy.
At the end there, he says that Barry threatened him. I actually can hear what Barry says, and Barry asked him if he was an undercover media person. He says, if you're an undercover media person, I'm gonna come after you. And he kind of says it in a jokingly manner, so it wasn't like a threat where Barry's just trying to, Barry's a hurting father, a hurting husband, and he's just saying, hey, listen, if you're freaking with me, I'm going to come after you. So when he says he was threatened, I wasn't standing there, so I couldn't see Barry's mannerisms, but I actually heard what he said. He asked him if he was undercover media. He said no. He says, okay, because if you are, I'm going to come after you. Well, I'm going to call Tyson because I actually have been trying to get Tyson's number all day, and he gives it to us on this this video. So we'll call him. He said, please text me, which means he's probably getting bombarded. I can't believe Tyson left his phone number.
The person you are trying to reach has a voicemail box that has not been set up.
He said, please text me. He just sent me a message that says, please text me. I just said, would love to talk with you about your conversation with Barry. So we'll see if he texts me back. He didn't want to answer the phone call. He doesn't have a voicemail set up. So a lot of people are going to think that this was a staged video. I don't think this was a staged video, but I could be wrong. In my opinion, Barry gives some information that I believe he believes. He does clear up some things that Barry never told anyone he was at fire training. He was at fireman training. He never told law enforcement that. He never told that story. I know that story's been cleared up, but again, Barry tells a story that he was kicking off a job in Denver. He tells a story that his kids were out of town and gone. He asked me, who is this? So I just told him, Dad with a phone, Michael Tolton. We'll see if he responds back. The only reason I can tell you Barry would talk to anyone is because Barry's innocent. Like, one, if Barry didn't know it was being recorded, he's genuinely talking to this guy because he thinks this guy is there to help. I also think this guy is there to help. I don't think this guy had an ill will or an intention when he recorded this conversation with Barry. I think he took a chance as a YouTube content creator and went for it. He obviously, got the recording, posted it online. He posted a teaser video where he said it was accidentally recording, but nevertheless, he got an interview with Barry Morphew, something that no one else has done. And for that, props, man. You were at the right place at the right time. I think you were respectful. I think you did okay. Oh, he says, okay, call him. So he said, call him back. I'm calling him right now.
Trying to reach has a voicemail box. You are trying to reach has a.
Well, now he's told me not to call, or now he says, okay, call me, and then it's going straight to voicemail.
The voicemail box that has not been.
Oh. Somebody said, uh-oh. Did I show y'all my credit card? That's terrible. I hope y'all didn't get my number. Somebody just said, hide your credit card. That sucks. I hope y'all didn't get my number. Don't go charge my card up. That would really suck. Everybody's telling me that now.
The person you are trying to reach has a voicemail box that has not been set up yet. Please try your call again later. Goodbye.
Oh, he's calling me now. Hello? Hello, it's Michael.
Hey, Michael.
Hey, man, you lit the internet on fire today.
Yeah, that's what I'm hearing, brother. In fact, when you were just trying to call me, somebody else was calling. It's been nonstop, man.
Yeah, so that was a random encounter, huh?
Yeah, that was about as random as it gets, man. I did see him the day before, as I put in my other video. But honestly, I didn't think I would get a chance to talk to him after I drove all the way up the road and it was all barricaded off. I thought, well, he's hunkered down. He's not going to talk to anybody. So I was pretty surprised.
Yeah. I saw that video. So I saw your video. Somebody sent me your video that you were kind of announcing that you had talked to him. And then you deleted that video. I think that's a smart idea. And then I went back and watched your video where you were walking around and then you said, I don't think you knew at the time, but like Barry was in the area at the time.
Oh, no, I had no idea, man. I spent a good probably 45 minutes looking for their house. And once I found it, or the roads, I should say, you know, the 225 and the 50, it started raining, and so I just jumped out of my car and started going real quick, tried to get some footage, and I didn't realize that was his truck right there.
And so that was the first day, right?
That was the first day. Is that what you're talking about?
Well, yeah, I saw that video you posted and you were kind of walking around, but you had put titles over it, I guess, after you realized when he drove past you that was him.
Yeah. Looking back, I mean, I didn't realize that was Barry until I was walking down the road and he came up behind me and I glanced over and I saw him and he looked totally distraught and I knew it was him right away. Yeah.
I kind of saw that in your face. You kind of like took a double take on the video and I was like, oh, dude, because you were in your video, you kind of put the subtitles because obviously hindsight 2020, you were like, that's exactly Barry's truck right there and stuff like that. But then you're in your video. I saw that moment when you realized that was him. So then like you go back up there the next day and he's around again.
Well, yeah. So I'm up there and I'm scouting around, you know, because it's sunny now and the weather's a lot nicer. And so I'm scouting around and I went back over there to try to find that food and whatnot. And so I'm just about ready to leave. I had shot some other videos, which, by the way, I'm going to be posting some more videos about that I did after the interview with Barry. Of where he told me the bike was. I actually walked down in there by the creek and stuff. So I got some more footage coming out. But
nice.
I
was out there. So I was out there just when they were searching the property. I live about an hour and a half, 2 hours away from there. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I think I watched a couple of your things when you were weren't you covering the Patrick Frazee case?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, the Patrick Frazee case happened in Woodland Park where I live. Kelsey was murdered just up the street.
All right.
And so, yeah. So, man, listen, you know, I know like on the one video you kind of said you were accidentally recording. And then when we see the video, it kind of looks like you knew the recording was happening.
Yeah, well, you know, honestly, man, I was hoping that it was recording.
Okay.
But I didn't know it because I was so caught up in just running into him, you know, and I was pushing buttons on my camera and I didn't know if it turned on or off. And I actually didn't know that it was on because I couldn't look down at it or anything because he was pretty like, skittish.
No. I mean, I realized that when a couple of times you tried to shift the camera, and it was when his back was turned and stuff. And so, no, I know that the internet and social media they'll be on both sides of the table. Some will give you a hard ass time. Others are glad that, you know, you kind of got like a real candid. It felt like a real candid interview with him, you know?
Yeah. Well, yeah, you know, and that's, I mean, you're always going to feel kind of shady, you know, when you're filming somebody and they don't know it or whatever. But honestly, everything that I've heard so far, that video helped him.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
You know?
No.
So,
and that's the one thing that I do believe is that, you know, because he didn't think he was being recorded. In other words, he's not performing for the camera. He's not giving you answers for the camera. You know,
right.
He's not putting on this act. You know, he's genuinely talking to you and giving you his kind of description.
Michael, that is what I wanted. That is what I wanted. And that's why I was hoping my camera was running, because I wanted it to be genuine, man. I didn't want this regurgitated. Even though I feel like I still got a lot of that, he just gushed. He didn't even let me talk. I mean, he just gushed his story, and I didn't get a word in, which is fine. Nobody wants to hear what I have to say. Everybody wanted to hear from him, and so I let him talk. But that, to me, just speaks more guilt, man. And I hate to say it, but it's true. It's like he had his little routine down and ready to go. He didn't ask me anything. He didn't ask me anything.
So for you, even, you think it speaks more to his guilt or to his innocence?
Well, to me, man, okay, the video, it doesn't really give you a clear picture like I saw. I was standing 2 feet from him. I looked into his eyes before he put his sunglasses on, and he was nervous. He was really, really nervous, and I could see it the way he was breathing. They were short, shallow breaths.
Yeah.
I could see it in his eyes, the way they were darting around from side to side. I mean, that's stuff that these people can't see, so they just kind of heard him and kind of just got a little glance at his demeanor. But I honestly walked away from it feeling like he's really hiding something.
No, I believe that being there in person, you would definitely have a more of a full view. The video definitely doesn't it doesn't give the, you know, his full demeanor, and we do just hear some part of his story. And there's some things he says in the story that don't make sense to me, you know. But, you know, nevertheless, he says he talks about his friend that has done like 400 tours in Iraq and Afghanistan, which is an outrageous tour number. But but either way, it looks like, you know, maybe he has some other people. I was interested because he talks about having other people investigating this other than law enforcement, and it didn't sound like he had very much faith in law enforcement.
No, absolutely not. Well, you can hear in the video, I had a woman message me earlier. She's going to transcribe it to where, you know, we can read along or whatever. But he's talking about, he's really running the sheriff's department down in that video and talking about how they made all kinds of mistakes. They hauled the bike up there. 10 people touched it, you know, before they did X, Y, and Z, and they had cars going in and out. So again, that speaks guilt to me, because he's hoping that it's botched.
Yeah.
You know, and again, man, I know a lot of people watch that video and it helped him, because they're like, well, he's not as guilty as I thought. But for me, being there and analyzing all of the things that I saw and my gut feeling, I just, you know, I could be wrong, and I hope to hell I am. But I don't see it, man. I don't see it turning out good. I just have a bad feeling. I really do.
No, and I believe that. I believe that being there in person and standing across from him in that scenario right there where they said all this went down, there was probably some crazy energy going on right there.
No, there was. And what's weird is when I saw him pulling up, I knew it was him because I had seen him the day before. And so when he stopped on the bridge there, he didn't hesitate, dude. I said, are you Barry Morphew? And he said, yes. And I said, what's going on, man? I'm out here like I'm looking for your wife. And he just threw it in park and hopped out, and we went walking up the road. And he didn't even ask me, who are you? Where are you from? What's going on? What are you doing? You know, he just started out with the story that he had rehearsed, that there's a $210,000 reward, and this is where they found her bike. And he just went on and on. It's on video. I mean,
no, absolutely. It's rather unbelievable, even to the point where now there are rumors and conspiracies saying, oh, this Tyson's a plant for Barry. This was a planned interview. I don't believe that at all. But this is what people have said already about the video, because it is so random.
Michael, you've been doing this long enough, bro, to know that you're gonna have everything thrown at you in the kitchen sink.
Oh, I mean, no, and that's why I'm talking to you, man, because I'm telling you, like, you landed in a sense kind of the same kind of stuff that happened to me with the Patrick Frazee case, me being so close, right? All of a sudden you put yourself in that position where you're the only one. Listen, I tweeted 2 or 3 reporters today going, bro, Barry just gave an interview to a YouTuber, you know, and this is where I believe this is where cases and the world is headed, that, you know, regular guys like you and me with a cell phone, a GoPro, and going out and looking at cases like this are actually going to make a difference. You know, this interview will probably be analyzed by law enforcement. They will probably go back and look at this. You know, there was a section there where you were talking to him and you kind of said, you know, just clear your name. And then there was some kind of stuff that it wasn't real clear in the video, but it sounds like Barry was very aware that they were looking at him and stuff like that.
Okay. Yeah. And honestly, man, going back and listening to the video and watching it, there were things that I actually missed when I was there because I was so caught up in the moment, you know. And,
absolutely.
And I had a chance to kind of like, you know, let it all sink in. And what I think, man, is I think that he thought that there was a possibility that I was an undercover officer, you know, somebody surveilling him. And that's why he just got right into his story and just like it was rehearsed a million times in front of the mirror, you know, like he didn't veer from it at all. He talked about the cat coming and taking her away, and then you know, an abduction, and he had this all ready to go, man. It was just, I think that he thought that it was possible that I was like a undercover cop or something. I don't know. And that's just my thought.
Yeah, no. And like I said, with you being there in the moment, I'm sure your freaking heart was racing, your knees, you had that little crazy feeling in your stomach. I mean, yeah, no,
I just couldn't believe it was happening, dude. It just like took off. Like he pulled up and boom, we were walking up the road, you know?
No, and so his mom, it looked like his mom was with him too.
Yeah, I felt really bad for her, man.
Yeah, and at the end, I actually heard it on the video where he says something like, "You're not like undercover media, are you?" And then he says something like, well, I'll get you, you know, if you are, I'm going to get you, or something like that. Is that kind of the threat? It sounded like it was kind of a joking threat, but I could see how you could be a little taken off.
Right.
Like then.
Well, okay, dude. So, yeah, it was said with tongue in cheek, and it was laughed off, but there's always some seriousness in what somebody says. There's always a little bit of, and when you're talking about somebody that's a possible murder suspect, absolutely. That's not like something that I take lightly, dude. It kind of like freaked me out a little bit.
No, I could tell that when you came on and you were like, I don't know if y'all heard that, but he kind of gave me a little threat at the end.
Yeah.
No.
Well, I didn't want to sound like a little girl and be, you know, but it just dawned on me like, wait a minute, did he like just say that? Like, I mean, cause I mean, dude, it's just, it was just kind of surreal. The whole thing.
No, I can imagine the fact that you captured it on video. Mad props, man. I mean, like I said, a lot of people have been trying to get interviews with him, and he has not done that. And I think the thing that I gathered from this, in a sense, I understand you think you're saying it sounded like it was a script and he had practiced it 100 times. I wonder if he's actually talked to other people that have shown up on that road, because I'm sure other people have, shown up looking for her, and it sounds like he definitely saw you there the day before,
Well, let me tell you something, man. I was surprised at how open he was, and in fact, after I wrapped the video up and I left, I drove down to Salida to the Walmart there.
Yep.
And as I'm sitting in the parking lot, kind of gathering my thoughts and looking over the video and trying to make some decisions of what I'm going to do, I look up and I see Barry and his mom walking across the Walmart parking lot.
Did they follow you?
And I thought, what the hell? This is the weirdest situation I've ever been in my life. Like, to my left, I see a banner in front of Walmart that has his missing wife, a $200,000 reward, call this number, and I see him walking across the parking lot to his truck. It was just like one of those moments in time where you're just like, dude, is this really happening right now?
So you left there and went to the Walmart, and he was at the Walmart as well.
Yeah, that's where him and his mom were going, and they were at Walmart. And so, to answer your question, I think he's open. I think he talks to people, and I don't, and again, man, isn't that the first thing a lawyer tells you is don't talk to anybody, But, maybe he doesn't have a lawyer. Maybe he doesn't have a good lawyer. I don't know.
Well, there's kind of two.
Open.
Yeah, there's kind of two thoughts on that. One, I don't think Barry's a dumb person, right? I don't think he seems to, even from his businesses and kind of things, I think he's an intelligent guy. There's two trains of thought, an innocent man, in my mind, will do one of two things. One, if you're innocent, then you're going to also be desperate for answers, right? If it isn't you, if it's not you and you didn't do this, you're going to be desperate for answers. And sometimes I try to put myself in their position, but it's almost impossible for someone that's not actually living that position or living that moment to put yourself in that position. But in some cases, the law enforcement lawyers don't say a thing, don't say a thing, don't say a thing. On the flip side, if you're innocent, in your mind, you got to be thinking, man, no one else is, I got to be screaming for help. I have to talk to people, On the other side, the internet has gone both ways. Part of the internet has painted him as guilty. The other part has said he's innocent, and so if you're watching any sort of that stuff, and you are guilty and you're trying to put off an innocent presence, then sometimes saying something seems like the innocent thing to do, and so I know lawyers will tell you, don't say anything, whether you're innocent or guilty. Law enforcement doesn't want you to give out information about the investigation, which he did, which is crazy because, he pinpointed to you exactly where the bike was. He tells the story about, I guess, a law enforcement agent seeing some mountain lion or something, At least that's the story he told in the video that I gathered, was that a law enforcement agent saw something.
He said that a mountain lion walked by the police car. Now, come on, dude. Come on.
Well, yeah, and that is highly unlikely anyway, right? That someone, the fact that people live here their whole life and don't see a mountain lion, and then that it's very highly unlikely, especially with that kind of traffic that was happening. But that was weird to me because law enforcement has blatantly said they do not believe wildlife is involved in this. No. So,
well, let me tell you, man. If you've been out to that area and you're still in the area, go out there and look down that ravine where he said her bike was. right at the base of it, there's a big pile of boulders,
Okay.
big rocks. And I guarantee you, if a human being was riding their bike and they went off that and went down in there, they're going to be pretty messed up. They're going to be they're going to be broken bones. And where is she? I mean, she should still be laying there. She's not going to walk off, you know. So to me, that whole story of the bike just doesn't hold water, man. I feel like it was staged.
I tend to agree with you. I tend to agree, especially because of the way law enforcement is treating that situation. That, you know, they did focus on it. They did look into it and stuff. But they haven't continued to push that issue, you know.
Yeah.
And they spent a lot more time and resources actually searching his job site than they probably did over there searching that road, you know.
Yeah.
Man, it's crazy, bro. Well, I peeped your channel this morning at like 800 subscribers, and you're headed towards 2,000. So, sometimes it's one video that'll flip it, man.
Well, I want to give a shout out to whoever the girl is that runs Plunder. Do you ever watch anything on that one?
Yeah, Plunder does quite a few of the same sort of videos that I do.
Yeah, I didn't know who she was until today, but I guess she gave me a shout out on one of her videos and stuff. And so then like a bunch of her subscribers started jumping over to mine. So, you know, I just do this as a hobby, man. It's just something to, you know, I hope that there's a positive outcome in every single one of these, like you do, like we all do, you know, but unfortunately that's not the real world, and we got to be real, man. We just got to tell it like it is and hope for the best. And that's what I'm doing in this case. I really am, man. I'm hoping that Barry's innocent, but I'm just not feeling it, man.
Hey, man, would you, unlike the rest of the internet world, even myself included, you've stood face to face with the man. Right. And so, you know, that's the one thing that like I try to do with these true crime things is like, while the rest of the internet will run wild with speculation, you know, people with boots on the ground, you know, your boots on the ground in Maysville having a conversation with Barry Morphew, and nobody can take that away from you. And so however this comes out, you know, down the road in history, you know, you kind of wrote your little piece in it because you put yourself out there and you took the drive and you spent the time. And man, I respect that about you. And when I first saw it, bro, like I said, and I even commented, I was like, man, the world's gonna give you a hard time about this video, but we are glad that you did it, you know. And and so, well, man, keep your head up. And like you said, a lot of it is going to be super positive too. And people are going to, you know, take it.
I appreciate that, Michael. And I don't, you know, I know, dude, there's going to be haters no matter what, dude. And, you know, dude, I understand where they're coming from. I really, truly do. But if they were in that situation, there's not a doubt in my mind that 99.9% of those people would have hit that record button also.
Yeah, man.
They would have done the same thing.
Exactly. I would have not volunteered that it was off. Like when he told me to put it in my pocket, I would have been, yeah, it's going in my pocket. And I would have left it with that. But that's all hindsight, right? Like I can sit and watch your video and be like, oh man, you shouldn't have said it was off, because then nobody could have gave you shit, you know? But no, hey, that no sweat, man. And hey, thanks for putting your time in, and thanks for, you know, taking the call today.
Hey, not a problem, Michael. Thanks for calling, and Godspeed, brother.
You too, man. And I'll be sending people your way. So keep doing what you're doing, and maybe we'll run into each other down the road.
You got it, man.
All right.
Thank you.
Talk to you later.
All right.
Well, there you go. Dad with a phone got the exclusive with the guy who got the exclusive with Barry Morphew. I really think Tyson's heart is in the right place. I also think that in that position where he just ended up in the right place at the right time and was on it. Batteries charged, record button pushed. There's nothing more you can do. You, like I said at the beginning of this video, you can find Tyson on YouTube just by putting in, oh shoot, Tyson. What's his? I'm gonna pull up his YouTube channel right now so everybody can see it. Make sure to go over there and tell him Dad with the Phone sent you. He's gonna find out pretty shortly that he was live on Dad with the Phone. Hey, bro. It's a one-party state. You understand. But go over there and check out Tyson's YouTube. He's up to 1,900 subscribers. When one of my admins sent me that video this morning, he had 800 subscribers. So killing it today on the YouTube content. Tyson Draper over on YouTube got an exclusive kind of exclusive interview. Did it like a YouTuber. We don't have to follow rules, guys. That's the thing. It's a one-party state. He was totally legal. Take it for what it is. It was a great interview. Take the interview for however you see it. The guy who was standing across from Barry Morphew today says that something's not right. You know, he got an interview and got a feel from this interview that you don't get from the video. You're not going to get everything from the video. But in my mind, the person who stood across from the man is going to have a much better, full compassing argument on what he believes happened. And you heard it straight from his mouth. He believes something's up with the story that was given by Barry Morphew. Some people believe the interview definitely helped him. And in my opinion, it does help him. At this point, very little information is coming out from law enforcement. We are getting very few information on leads or breaks in the case. And so Barry's trying to get his story out there. And yes, it could have been a scripted story. Yes, he's probably practiced and said these things over either in his head or to other people. But the fact that he was willing to talk to somebody, even if he didn't know he was being recorded, and especially if he didn't know he was being recorded, and he was willing to talk to a man face to face and give him information, it has to give some sort of credit to Barry. Time will be the tell. Tyson Draper on YouTube, you can see that. Just had him on the phone with Dad with a Phone. Little update on the video interview with Barry Morphew. You got it here first on Dad with a Phone, the man that spoke with Barry Morphew. We'll talk to you guys later. Thanks for watching.